Good afternoon and happy Monday to you. Thank you for joining us for what seems to be the first day of spring. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm John Blinn. It was certainly a nice day out today, Gage, and this year's Groundhog Day may have proved that we will see more weather like this very soon. Punxsutawney Phil made his annual prediction as to whether or not spring would come early this year. The groundhog did not see his shadow on Saturday, revealing that spring may be just right around the corner. This year was only the 19th time that Phil has seen his shadow out of his 133 annual appearances. Punxsutawney Phil is not the only source of weather predictions, though, as we now look to Sonu Babu to tell us what to expect today. Sonu, what do you have for us?
Well, after the miserable wind chills, we are looking at a high of 59 degrees, so it's definitely warming up today, and a low of 47 degrees with a 59% chance of humidity, so we won't have to wear big coats anymore. And stay tuned for the hourly updates in just a couple of minutes. Now let's go back to the desk.
Breaking news, the first concert for the new UPMC Event Center has been announced. The first show will be two-time Grammy award-winning band, Evanescence. The concert will be on May 12th, and tickets will go on sale next Friday starting at 10 a.m. You can catch those on livenation.com and ticketmaster.com. Robert Morris University will be opening a new manufacturing laboratory in Pittsburgh's Lower Hill neighborhood. The School of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science is opening a state-of-the-art lab named the Energy Innovation Center on Wednesday. According to a statement from the university, the 200,000 square foot building will feature programs, training, and research from organizations like Covestro, Carnegie Mellon University, Penn State, and UPMC. A boil water advisory was issued for Raccoon and Potter Township Sunday after a water main break. The Municipal Water Authority of Aliquippa said the area experienced a loss of pressure following a water main break on Saturday on Green Garden Road. Repairs have since been completed.
2 men were killed in an accident that took place in Rochester on Saturday. Police say that 40-year-old David Riddle of Ohio and 32-year-old Casey Rector of Texas were driving along railroad tracks near Rochester Riverfront Park when they lost control of their vehicle and rolled down a hill. The men fell for more than 15 feet and landed on the vehicle's roof. A crash in Maryland brought tragedy early Saturday morning after a car ran off of the road and into a wooded area. The vehicle hit several trees before ending up in a snow-covered field. The accident resulted in the death of 5 children, aging 5 to 15. All children were ejected from the car, and investigations lead state police to believe that the children were not properly restrained by seatbelts. 32-year-old Dominic Taylor and 23-year-old Cornell Simon were taken to the hospital with injuries. Investigation is ongoing.
Several residents in Penn Hills were forced from their home after a vehicle crashed into their house. According to first responders at the scene, a silver vehicle crashed into a brick support column at an Edinburgh Drive home Sunday afternoon. The driver escaped without injury. An early morning accident closed down a road in Plumboro today. Just before 6 a.m., a dump truck overturned on Davidson Road after striking a utility pole. Officials have not said if anyone was injured during the accident.
A man was found fatally shot outside of a house in Duquesne Heights around 3 a.m. this morning. Detectives added at least 9 evidence markers at the ground surrounding the victim, and were also investigating a truck parked across the street that had at least 2 bullet holes in it. A woman is facing multiple charges after an incident that took place around 9:30 p.m. on Saturday in Bend Township. Barbara Denise Chrisman allegedly fired at family members at a home on Hemlock Road. After this, Chrisman fled the scene, and police later found her attempting to hide in the backseat of her car, which she was crashed in a ditch. She had an open container of alcohol in the car.
2 men are now dead after an apparent murder-suicide in Apollo. According to state police, 33-year-old David Lee and 25-year-old David Gatos were arguing inside of a 6th Street home Saturday morning. When things escalated, Lee got a handgun and shot and killed Gatos. Police say Lee turned the gun on himself. Authorities say a woman and a young boy were inside the home at the time of the shooting. The 2 men worked together, according to neighbors.
1 deputy is dead and another is wounded during a SWAT standoff near Cincinnati, Ohio. It reportedly began Saturday evening in Claremont County, Ohio. Local media crews say they heard gunshots hours after the standoff started. The suspect, Wade Edward Wynn, was taken into custody by police. Detective Bill Brewer was taken to Mercy Hospital and later died of his injuries. Lieutenant Nick DeRose was treated and later released from University Hospital. No word as to Wynn's reasoning behind the shootings.
British-born rapper 21 Savage was arrested in Atlanta just hours before he was scheduled to take the stage at the Super Bowl halftime show. The rapper's whose real name is Shea bin Abraham Joseph was arrested by immigration and customs enforcement officers who say he has been living in the United States illegally since 2006. The rapper will be deported back to the United Kingdom, according to authorities.
A police officer of Dixon County is facing multiple charges after pressuring 2 women into performing oral sex to avoid arrest. 29-year-old Mark Icker pulled over 2 women on separate occasions in December. One of the women had marijuana in her car and the other had done nothing wrong. Attorneys for the women are working with other potential victims of Icker.
Imagine this, you're getting ready to go on your Hawaii vacation, but your plane is forced to land not once, not twice, but 3 times. This happened to more than 200 passengers aboard a Hawaiian Airlines flight from Los Angeles bound to Maui. Aviation experts say the plane was forced to land back at LAX 3 separate times after departing. The flight was canceled after the 3rd forced landing. 2 weeks ago, a plane carrying Argentine soccer star Emiliano Sala crashed into open waters near the English Channel. A private search crew announced that they were able to locate the wreckage of the single-turbine Piper Malibu plane on Saturday. Sala had just signed a $19.3 million contract with the English Premier League of Cardiff City and was en route to his new home.
A former teacher of Our Lady of Lourdes Regional School in Moon Township is suing the Roman Catholic Diocese of Harrisburg. Naeed Reach was fired from her Catholic school job on November 30th after she became pregnant. She was allegedly fired because the diocese was upset that she was pregnant but not married. Reach is seeking a deal that will permanently reinstate her as a teacher. An argument between 2 tow truck drivers resulted in gunfire on Saturday. Police say that around 3:30 p.m., the drivers arrived at the same traffic accident where they soon began to argue. At one point, one of the drivers went back to his truck and retrieved a baseball bat. He then proceeded to approach the other driver, who responded by pulling out a gun and shooting the man who had the bat. The gunshot victim was not fatally wounded, and no one has been arrested at this time.
Stay connected all of the time for all you need to know about news, sports, arts, and entertainment on campus and around the Pittsburgh region. Be sure to visit RMUcentralmedia.com.
When we come back from the break, the governor of Virginia is under fire for something he did decades ago.
And the Pope makes history with a visit to an area never traveled to before by Catholic Church leaders. Thank you for spending your Monday morning with us, afternoon with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome
Welcome back to RMU Live. Virginia's Democratic Governor Ralph Northam is currently facing accusations of being seen in a racist image. Both Democrats and Republicans are asking for Northam's resignation. President Trump was one of those people, stating that the picture and what it stands for is unforgivable. Northam has been caught changing his story and the event and has been both denying the accusations and also apologizing for them.
Pope Francis made a historic trip this weekend. The Pope traveled to the United Arab Emirates to visit the Arabian Peninsula on Sunday on a trip that religious officials say is seeking to improve relations with the Muslim world. The 3-day trip is the first time that a Pope has ever visited the Arabian Peninsula.
According to the Pentagon, 3,750 U.S. forces will deploy to the southwest border to provide additional support to Customs and Border Protection. This was further confirmed by President Donald Trump, who tweeted that more troops were being sent to the border to prevent invasions of illegal immigrants. This movement is separate from the effort to use existing Pentagon funds to help build sections of a border wall with Mexico.
A new poll from CBS News says that 66% of Americans agree that President Donald Trump should not declare a national emergency in order to secure funding for the United States-Mexico border wall. Government funding is scheduled to expire on February 15th after Trump continues to push his multi-billion-dollar project. 73% of Americans want Trump to continue negotiating to keep the government open.
Be sure to tune in to our other RMU-TV programming, RMU Live on Mondays at 1 p.m. and Fridays at 12 p.m., RMU Tonight on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m., and Colonial Sports Center on Thursday at 9:30 p.m.
The Zac Brown Band will be stopping in the Pittsburgh area on their next tour. We have all the details on where and when tickets go on sale.
And President Donald Trump had some comments about letting his son take the football field. All of this and more when we come back from the break.
Hey, Dad.
Thanks for staying with us.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices.
Like your text-to-emoji ratio.
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Country fans, get ready to rock this summer. The Zac Brown Band announced a new tour this summer, and Pittsburgh is one of the stops. The band will stop at Key Bank Pavilion on June 28th to play during their Out Tour. Tickets to see the Grammy Award-winning group will go on sale this Friday. Now that sports betting is legal, Rivers Casino has named legendary bookkeeper Jimmy Vaccaro as their director of sports relations. The 73-year-old Trafford native has years of experience in Las Vegas and says that the Steel City is, quote, a hotbed for legal sports betting, end quote.
In a recent interview with CBS News, President Trump said that he would have a hard time allowing his 12-year-old son, Barron, to play football. The president feels that the sport is dangerous despite his love for watching it and the improvements of equipment. To tell us more about football and all other sports, let's take it over to RMU Live sports anchor, Michael Shuley.
Thank Topic of football, let's move on to Super Bowl 53 that happened last night. The New England Patriots were able to defeat the Los Angeles Rams by a score of 13-3. This secured the Patriots' 6th Lombardi trophy. This ties them for the most of all time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Julian Edelman caught 10 passes for 141 yards on his way to winning the game's MVP award. And as for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they played twice this past weekend. The first game was Friday night against the Ottawa Senators, and the Penguins were able to win by a score of 5-3 as Brian Rust and Jake Gensel were both able to score a pair of goals. However, the Penguins game Saturday night would not end as well for the Pens as they fell to the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 3-2. The Penguins will be back in action tomorrow night when they travel back home to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. This is all we have for now, but I'll be back later. For right now, we're going to kick it back over to the desk to John and Gage.
Thanks, Michael. When we come back from the break, a weather phenomenon known as frostquakes are trembling the state.
And Sonu Babu has a look at the full forecast and how long these spring-like temperatures will stick around. I hope it's a long time, John. Thank you for spending your Monday afternoon with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? I was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
People across Pennsylvania have been reporting hearing loud popping noises.
Geologists in York County believe it could be a weather phenomenon created by the sub-zero temperatures and snow. Josie Carabone reports.
If it's a big enough break, it'll cause a noise, and that would be the frostquake.
Sub-zero temperatures may be bringing out a natural phenomenon in central Pennsylvania, a cryoseism, better known as frostquakes.
The water in the ground freezes, it expands and pushes on things, causing them to eventually break, releasing energy as noise.
That noise, seismic energy, which comes from the ground up. Experts with Millersville University say the phenomenon can happen when there is water on the ground with a crack close to the surface.
Big enough for water to get in.
Jerry Jones with Jones Geological Services in York County says he's been receiving multiple calls and emails from people reporting frostquakes across the state, from York to Lebanon counties all the way to western Pennsylvania.
I heard 2 frostquakes at my house in Bell Vernon when I arrived home at 4 p.m. and then a loud one that shook the house at 6:45.
Geologist Taylor Walsh says while a prolonged period of cold is more likely to cause an event like this in our area, there is no evidence proving it has actually happened.
If it's breaking in the ground, it's going to release seismic energy. We'll pick that up on our seismograph, and we'll be able to see that energy.
However, Jones says he doesn't think the type of frostquakes being reported are big enough to be measured by the device.
Frostquakes, usually are not picked up on seismographs because they're not generating a true seismic wave. They are very, very localized. So one house hears it, nobody else is going to hear it.
Walsh says people may simply be reporting a loud noise that sounds like a frostquake, but isn't.
The metal on the train track will be shrinking right now, and so that can break and that can make a loud noise. Tree limbs could be falling.
For now, both experts can agree it's really all just a guessing game.
They're not really, well understood in Pennsylvania yet. There hasn't been any published research on them because they're fairly new.
We haven't picked up any signal that would suggest frostquaking, so if it's happening, it's very minor, and it's a guess that it could be a frostquake.
Josie Carbonari, Fox 43 News.
Thank you, Josie. Now for our own weather. Here is Sonu Babu. What do you have for us?
Thank you, John. And unlike the frost quakes, it is sunny and humid outside today with still in the high 50s. Moving on to our hourly weather, we have throughout the day be 49 degrees. And now I'll be back with the weekly weather forecast today with John and Gage. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. The RMU men's basketball team lost their lone game of the week at Fairleigh Dickinson, but I'll have more on that after we get back from this break, so be sure to keep it in.
Need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and just like I mentioned before the break, the RMU men's basketball team lost their lone game of the weekend to the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights in a double overtime thriller by a score of 97-94. Josh Williams put up 34 points in the losing effort. Charles Bain also had a solid outing as he put up 18 points and 7 rebounds. The men's basketball team will be back in action on Thursday when they host the Bryant Bulldogs. The women's basketball team also played the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights, and they continued their dominance over the NEC with a 63-43 victory. Neka Azebo, Natalie Villaflor, and Nina Augustin all put up double-digit points in the victory. The team will be back on the court hoping to extend their win streak to 10 games against Bryant on Saturday. And as for the men's hockey team, they weren't as successful this weekend as they were swept in their 2-game series with the Sacred Heart Pioneers. On Friday, the Colonials fell by a score of 6-2, and then on Saturday, they dropped the game by a score of 3-1. RMU has now lost 5 games in a row, and the men's hockey team will have a chance to get back in the win column in 2 weeks when they travel to Holy Cross. Now we're going to kick it over to Sonu Babu for a look at the weather. Sonu, what do you have?
Right now, a high of 59. At tomorrow's weather forecast, it is 50 degrees high and a 35 degrees low. It is cooling down, and there is a 30% chance of precipitation. And moving on to our weekly weather. Wednesday, a high of 59, and then on Friday we're cooling down a little bit, and we're seeing a low of 19 degrees. It seems like Monday is the only sunny the time. It's going to be cloudy and rainy with 100% chance of precipitation on Thursday, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And now we're going to go back to Gage and John on the desk.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And that's all the news for now. For latest on news, visit RMU Central Media, because news is always on. Have a great day.
I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio.
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man. Let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look,